Back at it again, and as most of you know, Donald Trump recently had a town hall, and he said some pretty interesting things in that town hall that I want to talk about with you guys. So that's what we're going to be diving into today. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new, and let's dive in.
All right, we're back in Greenville, South Carolina, just 4 days ahead of the GOP primary where President Trump is trouncing Nikki Haley in the polls. You've seen them. I've seen them. But now, Mr. President, I've long said that Republicans should have a no state or city left behind strategy. Yeah. Ronald Reagan had that strategy in 1980 and 1984. And you told Maria Bartiromo that you may campaign in the Bronx or at Madison Square Garden. When might that be happening?
Very soon. Look, we have 9 months yet, but I'm going to see about Madison Square Garden, and we're going to go to the South Bronx, and we're going to go to Queens and other areas, because if you look at what's happened in New York, I'm not even blaming the mayor. I think the mayor has sort of been told to take a back seat a little bit because they came after him violently. You know, they came after him like they're going to indict him when he started speaking up, and now he's become quiet. These are fascists we're dealing with. They're terrible.
Yeah, I actually made a video on that. You guys remember when Mayor Eric Adams was actually starting to become a little more vocal about the problems going on in New York. His campaign finance manager, I believe it was, or something, was raided. Her office was raided or something. And then shortly after that, he had a Me Too moment, I believe. He was accused of some things that we aren't going to say here. We're going to keep it PG. So, yeah, we talked about that. So Trump is definitely right about that one. And ever since, he's been a little more quiet. Have you noticed that, Eric Adams? Yeah. But anyway, let's continue.
People. And so I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying we have 400, 500,000 migrants, illegal migrants in New York on Madison Avenue. They're sleeping on Madison Avenue. They're sleeping on Fifth Avenue. It's horrible what's going on. I think there's a chance to win New York. The people are very, very unhappy.
The poll today that just came out in New York, just to remind everybody, in 2020, Biden beat you by 23 points in New York. But in the latest Siena poll, Biden's only ahead of you by 12 points, and that's with zero Republican presence and, no ads, nothing. Now, you're winning men 47-40 in this poll, but you're upside down with women 54 to 29. How could you turn that around in New York with women voters? Again, many of them love your policies, but maybe some of the other stuff they don't.
So nationally, we're doing very well with women, though. We're leading Biden by a lot nationally, by 12 and 14 points. And we're doing much better.
But we're talking about this 50-state strategy.
I'd like to do the 50-state. I'd like to focus on it. I wish I had more confidence in the election and, in all of the way they accumulate ballots, to be honest with you, because I think we'd do very well in California, but not when they send out 36 or 38 million
ballots. But there's real progress in New York. I mean, this is a significant poll with no Republican advertising. Among Latinos, you're at 41% in New York. Among African Americans, you're at 26%. Those are 40% increases from 2020. So with a little work in a lot of these states, New England has 12 Senate seats. I mean, I'm from Connecticut. Why is Connecticut down the tubes? Why is Illinois down the tubes? Why is California lost?
New York, New Jersey.
Right.
New Jersey, very strong, with great Trump state. I think we have a chance. If you win any of them, you automatically win the election. I mean, you'd win. Virginia's another one. New Mexico, we did great in New Mexico. I think we have a really good shot there. Colorado is very interesting because of all this mess where you had this group of people trying to take somebody out of the ballot. They're saying we're doing very well in Colorado. I think we're doing well everywhere, but we're beating him nationally by a lot. In fact, right now we're winning the popular vote by a lot.
Yeah, Trump is doing a lot better in, blue areas like New York and the Bronx. I don't know if you guys remember, but Newsmax actually had a segment where they went to the Bronx. And actually, I showed you guys this clip, and I'll show you just a little piece of it here. We're not going to watch the entire video, but just as a refresher, this is what the people of the Bronx had to say about Trump. Now, the Blue Bronx. Yeah, check it out.
The Bronx is the bluest of New York City's boroughs, and the only borough with a Hispanic majority. President Biden got 83% of the vote here in 2020. But now the Biden campaign is seeing polls coming out saying President Trump is gaining traction with voters of color, even younger voters. So I came to the Bronx to put a face on the numbers, and I was shocked by what I heard on the streets. Do you think that President Biden is doing a good job with the economy?
No, he's not doing nothing to support nobody.
Is he doing a good job? Yes or no?
No. I can see we're all going to be in the streets homeless.
Biden and his press secretary said that prices are going down. Is that your experience, or is that not true?
No, that is definitely not true. Prices are definitely going up. I used to go across the street to Fordham to go get me a meal. I can't even get me a meal because that meant $20.
Minority communities, we're not seeing the improvement. There's inflation with everything, food, gas, insurance prices. I mean, you name it.
Bidenomics is not working. It's just a complete mess. It's a disaster. Especially here in New York City, we're feeling it very hard.
If you could say anything to Biden right now, who says that the economy is improving, especially in black and brown communities, what would you say to him?
That's lies. I believe that's lies. Heavy lies on that, for sure.
Do you think that somebody else besides Biden should be president?
Yes,
next time?
Of course. Bring back Trump.
Tell me why.
We had money. We had money when Trump was president.
Free my son Trump. Free my son Trump. Trump 2024, everybody. Trump 2024.
That's crazy. And we're here in the Bronx.
I'm gonna vote for Trump if he runs, because I feel like it was much better when he was here financially for everybody. Not just me, for everybody.
I'm definitely voting for Donald Trump. He made sure we had money in our pockets. He was for the people. He made sure we had what we needed. I feel like everything will go back to how it was. I mean, ever since he's been out of office, everything's declined.
When Trump was president, my life was good. Economical-wise, I was doing so much better.
They're saying it's going to be Biden-Trump, so who will you vote for?
Oh, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna have to go for Trump. Sorry.
Trump 24. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have this type of situation going on, where you have people in deep blue areas that are openly, these folks are out on the streets. Anybody and everybody could hear them, right? Openly saying, "Hey, yo, Trump, absolutely, Trump, bring back Trump." What we talking about here? I think you got some serious issues. I think you got some real serious issues. And then when you have all of these different polls, and yeah, sure, polls, you got to take them with a grain of salt. But when you have these types of polls, along with those types of videos that I just showed you, you definitely got some issues. So flipping Nevada would be a significant gain for Republicans. Currently, Trump's lead remains at 5.6% based on 16 polls. This could be how it all plays out. Right there. Whoa. My goodness. My goodness. Pennsylvania, red. Nevada, Arizona, red. Yeah. What is going on here with Wisconsin? Is Wisconsin just like a toss-up? Could go either way. I'm assuming that's what that means. But yeah, could you imagine that? 312 to 226. Absolute landslide. And then you got other polls like this, right? Trump up by 7. You know? So when you have all of these different polls, along with, you know, these street interviews where people are saying these types of things, you've got some trouble. You got some major trouble. But let's continue on with this town hall from Uncle Trump. Let's continue.
Mr. President, Tammy's in the audience. She has a question. Tammy.
Good afternoon, President Trump. First of all, I'd like to say we miss you.
Thank you.
And we are truly sorry for the scrutiny that you are under on a daily basis, which leads to my question. How do you keep the demeanor that you do and keep your spirits so high when you're obviously being attacked by the other side all the time?
Well, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that question, because I do get it asked a lot. I'll tell you, Tammy, I get 2 questions the most. Will they do it again? That's number 1 question. Will they do it again, sir? Will they do it again? We have a lot of checks. We have a lot of things. And, you know, last time I campaigned, I did great. And then I went home and I saw bad things happening, and we all know that. But that's number one. The second thing is, how do you take it, which is your question. And I don't know the answer to that, except I must be wired in a certain way, because I have a lot of very, very, not even friends and enemies, but I have a lot of people come up to me like Wall Street tycoons, big, tough, smart people, and they say, how the hell do you take it? You got indicted 4 times. These guys, if they ever got indicted once, I mean, they'd crawl into a corner and say, Mommy, take me home. I can't take it. It's true.
Do you pray regularly?
I pray. I pray.
I mean, if you don't mind me asking, because I know this is a very faith-filled audience here, and I know there are people across the globe pray for you and your safety. They're worried about your safety.
No, they are.
And they want. Do you feel that? Do you feel the power of that?
I do, but can I be honest? I worry about their safety too. These people, everybody in this room is in great danger right now. We have a nuclear weapon that if you hit New York, South Carolina is going to be gone too. I worry about their safety. I think it's the reason I'm doing this. I'm worrying about this country. This country is in such trouble. We have incompetent people running our country right now. The only thing they're good at is being vicious. They're vicious, horrible people. And that's what they're good at. They're good at doing the election stuff and demeaning people. We want to get together. I think we can get together.
Will you work with Democrats in cities that I know you love, because you spent so much time in all these cities?
So sad.
You've said after Iowa you would work with any Democrat in any city or state to fix their problems.
Yeah.
Will you?
Well, I went a step further. The top 25 worst cities in terms of crime, and they're all run by Democrats. I mean, virtually every one of them is Democrats. I'm going to work with the Democrats. We're going to rebuild our cities. We're going to rebuild those 25-plus cities, and we're going to make our cities great again. We're also going to make our capital. Our capital, last night, 2 people were killed again. We have people going in from South Carolina. They want to go and see the Washington Monument or something, anything, and they end up getting shot in Washington, D.C. You know it better than anybody. It's dangerous. I just lost somebody who was killed last week, who was a phenomenal young man. He was carjacked, and the man shot him. This thug shot him through the head right in front of his wife. His wife was coming out, and he was killed almost instantaneously. And a great guy. This should not be in our capital. We will run that with such. I want to federalize it. I want to take it back. We want to clean it, fix the roads. The roads have potholes. I can imagine these leaders coming in from other, they hear the United States, they come in from other countries. They look at roads that are filthy dirty with dirt, with paper and cartons and garbage all over.
Fentanyl and homelessness, all of it together.
The homeless, the tents all over the parks. No, we're going to take over Washington, D.C. We're going to federalize. We're going to have very powerful crime, and you're going to be proud of it again. We're going to take the graffiti off the beautiful marble columns, the swastikas off the columns, and we're going to make it beautiful again and safe.
Absolutely cannot be mad at that. Absolutely cannot be mad at that. And, like you said there, that was a pretty profound statement when he said, I'm worried about their safety, because America is dangerous, and that's a shame, to be such a rich country. Doesn't feel like it. Does not feel like it. With all of the crime that we have going on, the streets aren't great, right? You have to look over your shoulder constantly if you want to leave your home at night. I mean, this stuff is just absolutely ridiculous. And, Congress and Democrats would rather send all of our money over to somewhere else when we really should be spending it here to make sure that we are good, to make sure that our streets are paved properly and everybody's not hitting potholes every 2 seconds, messing up your car, which is another expense that we have to pay with money that we don't already have, right? Because everything else is already expensive. I don't understand how someone could advocate for sending our money elsewhere when we have people that are struggling here. That just makes zero sense to me. And some people will say, well, we could do both. Well, we haven't done both before, because if we were doing both, we wouldn't have the problems that we currently have. For example, and I'll leave it at this, and we'll jump back into Trump's town hall. Explain to me how. Now, I don't know the numbers to be exact, okay? So I want to put that on Front Street, all right? Just want to be transparent here. But I would like to assume that New York City has taken in more illegal immigrants than there are homeless people, right? Currently in New York. I would assume that there are more illegal immigrants now in New York City than there are homeless people. How in the world can you find housing and shelter for all of the illegal immigrants when you have homeless people that have been in your city and they're still homeless out on the streets? Explain that one to me. So when people say, oh, well, we can do both. No, we can't. No, we can't. And I'm not going to advocate for anything else, spending money on anyone else in any other place until we take care of our own. Until we take it. There's no reason why Americans should be living paycheck to paycheck and our government is sending our money somewhere else. People are struggling. I think I saw a report that the American credit card debt has reached a record high. People are putting money on credit cards because they don't have cash. They don't have money. This stuff is just absolutely ridiculous. And then we haven't even we haven't even dove deep into the crime issue, right? So, yeah, man, bring Trump back ASAP. And yeah, here's another clip from Trump's town hall.
When Biden ran, he pledged he was going to pick a female vice president in 2020. What qualities are you looking for in your vice presidential pick?
Well, always the first quality has to be somebody that you think will be a good president, because if something should happen, you have to have somebody that's going to be a great president. A lot of people are talking about that gentleman right over there. And he's been so great. He's been such a great advocate. I have to say, this is in a very positive way, Tim Scott. He has been much better for me than he was for himself. I watched his campaign, and he doesn't like talking about himself, but boy, does he talk about Trump. And I said, I called him. I said, Tim, you're better for me than you were for yourself. But he's fantastic, and he's a fantastic person.
Someone who can step into the role.
Most importantly, you have to view that.
The audience has been asked who they think would be a good choice, and various names came up. One of them was, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy. Yep. He's made a big splash. Ron DeSantis, who's making an appearance today in South Carolina, we just found out. Obviously, Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, and a big presence here for Tulsi Gabbard. Very interesting. And Kristi Noem as well, I should say. Right. Are they all on your short list? And when can we expect that you will announce your choice?
The one thing that always surprises me is that the VP choice has absolutely no impact. It's whoever the president is. It just seems. I remember when Sarah Palin was actually picked, and she did have a big up, and then they just went after her at a level that nobody's seen. The Republicans themselves went after what they did.
But you'll be a one-term president because you've already served, so you can only serve for one term, although they say you'll never leave office. I assume that you'll never leave. There'll never be another election
don't
again.
Don't do it. He'll never leave. He's never going. Oh, these people.
So for that reason, it is important who you pick.
So I think it's very important. But look, first is that, as we said, it has to do with whoever is, it's a very important position for that reason. You would like to get somebody that could help you from the voter standpoint. And honestly, all of those people are good. They're all good. They're all solid. And I always say, I want people with common sense, because there's so many things happening in this country that don't make sense. Who wants an open border? Who wants high interest rates? Who wants all electric vehicles? And they're fine, but you want to have choice. You want to go to combustion. You want to go to any hybrid. I think the hybrid are much better from that standpoint. But we were talking about faucets. We're talking about machines. We're talking about so much. It's all based on common sense. We want a strong military. We want choice in education. We want to have things that can really make our country great again. What we're doing with the open border is a disaster. We are destroying our country. We're going to change that fast, and we're going to get your energy prices down.
Mr. President, thank you so much for this.
Yes. I definitely agree, right? We should be energy independent. There's no reason why we can't be. I don't believe in this whole EV push, and they're trying to force us to buy electric vehicles when the grid can't even handle it. I don't know if you guys remember, but California, I call California, California, issued a warning to folks like, hey, don't plug in your cars during X hours because we're having some issues, right? So if California is already having issues, and yes, granted, there are more people in California that have electric vehicles than probably the rest of the country, right? But still, I would venture to guess that a majority of vehicles in California still aren't electric, right? And if you're already having problems, what do you think that's going to look like when everybody has an electric vehicle and everybody has to plug in their car, as well as, you know, what about construction equipment vehicles, right? What about those giant pieces of machinery? What about semi trucks? Now you got everybody plugging into this grid that couldn't even handle people charging before. So what's going to happen then? Everyone's car is going to be as useless as, I don't know, it's going to be nothing, just sitting in your garage. What are you going to do? Freddie Flintstone it? You going to cut out the bottom and yabba dabba do? You know what I'm saying? Like, run with the car with your feet, or push the car with your feet while you're sitting in it? I mean, come on. Like, this stuff is ridiculous. Like, if you want an electric car, sure, buy one. By all means. By all means. If you want that, cool. As a matter of fact, I heard they're making hydrogen vehicles. Okay? By all means. I love what Trump said. Give us the option, okay? But an option is different than forcing us to. Me personally, I want to hear the roar of an engine. I want to hear the roar of a combustion engine. Well, I don't like electric. You know, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. But that's just me personally. How do y'all feel about the whole EV push? Y'all let me know in the comment section. But like I said, me personally, I want to hear the roar of an engine personally. You know, and also, you know, I feel like they're a little harder to mess with. Obviously, you can still mess, especially a more modern vehicle, even if it is combustion, because there's so many computers and all of these things these days that, of course, it can be tweaked with. But yeah, just the whole grid issue alone. As a matter of fact, I dropped a YouTube short. It was a really long time ago now, probably over a year ago now, of a woman that was bragging about the electric vehicle that they had. I forgot. I want to say she was part of the Biden administration, but don't quote me on that. Okay, don't quote me on that. But a reporter asked, you know, hey, how are you charging this vehicle? And she said it's plugged into this building right here. When the vehicle was parked in front of like this brick building or something, if I remember correctly. She was like, yeah, it's charging. He was like, no. Like, how are they getting power? And she said, oh, well, and she pointed over to, because the guy that was the head of the power plant there happened to be there, because I guess it was like some big press conference or whatever. And she said, he was like, how did they get the power? And she said, I believe it's coal or no, natural gas. Like, you could tell, like, she caught herself like, oh crap, they're getting the power from coal and we're trying to be green. Natural gas. And then the reporter went over to the guy that ran the power plant. I need to see if I can find that clip again. I know it's still up on my channel, but I have so many videos. Yeah, good luck finding that thing. I don't even know what I titled it, but I believe the guy from the power plant, when he got asked, was like, yeah, we're like 80% coal and 20% natural gas or something like that. It was just like, come on, this stuff makes no sense. I've even dropped a YouTube short of a guy who was at a charging station, and he panned the camera over and showed diesel generators, these giant diesel generators that were generating the power for the electric car. And it's just like, come on, bro. Just put diesel in the car. Like, you put diesel in the generator to generate electricity for the electric car. You might as well just buy a diesel engine car. So you just put diesel in the car. You skip a whole step. But, you know, I don't know. Don't make any sense to me. But, yeah, I give kudos to Uncle Trump, because I think this town hall really answered a lot of questions for folks that were on the fence, for, on supporting Donald Trump. Right. I think he got a little more into the how he was going to execute a lot of this stuff and not just what he was going to do. Right. Because we all know what he's going to do. But there were some folks who were a little on the fence on how he was going to do it. And that's what people wanted to hear. And he dove into that a bit more. And, I loved hearing him say that his revenge will be his success. Right. Because that's been the running narrative. Oh, Trump's going after everybody, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no, my revenge will be my success. That will be my revenge. And hey, listen, I don't mind that. Because I do feel like him being successful, which I definitely believe he will be, especially in comparison to what's going on right now, really will force the Democrats' hand. It'll put the Democrats in a major hole when he is successful, because people will see and remember, oh crap, like things were terrible. We were on the verge of World War III. Gas prices were high, grocery prices were high, everything was high, including car insurance prices were high. I mean, everything was high. It was crazy. Crime was rampant everywhere, going crazy. The border was open. But now under Trump, like, I got a little extra money. Like, I'm not rich, but I have a little extra money, which I didn't have before. Border is closed. Crime is down. Gas prices are at a reasonable price now. As a matter of fact, I ain't seen gas prices at $1.98, and I don't know how long, right? Okay. I don't know how low they're going to get. I'm just throwing out a number. And so I think that'll really put Democrats in a serious hole to continue to push this narrative that Trump and Republicans are these evil, terrible, no good, very bad people. They'll attempt to, but I think it'll fall on deaf ears. But that's just me personally. How do y'all feel about all of this in the comment section below? Like, share, comment. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.